Young the Giant is with us. Victory Garden is out now. They will be at Wolf Trap tonight. Please welcome Young the Giant.
Hello.
How we doing, boys?
Top of the morning.
Doing great.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fantastic.
I am doing fantastic. Thank you. I wasn't going to start with the song. Well, let me ask you this. How's the road right now?
Oh, it's great.
How was the ride down last night?
Yeah.
B
It was
minus.
a little bumpy.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Like you didn't get tangled up in any of the storms afterwards.
Oh, our crew did.
Our crew did. Yeah. We were on the bus and we heard it starting to hit and felt very sad for them because that is not a fun loadout.
Oh, I bet it's
They
not.
work very, very hard. Yeah.
They do, yes.
Bless them.
Right. And you were inside the bus.
Watching Netflix.
There you go.
Our tour manager was reading stories to me.
Yeah. When I'm sleeping on the bus, I'm effectively dead to the world, so I didn't notice anything bumpy last night.
Yeah.
I just woke up here.
So you get on and you are done.
Yeah, I mean, once I'm sleeping, But there definitely have been moments where I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like mid-air from the bump and then fall back down to the bed. And
And
Back
then
to
there you
sleep.
go.
You know,
Back to
as the
sleep.
years have gone on, the bus has gotten progressively quieter and quieter and quieter after the shows. As you know, because it used to be like kind of the party bus, and now it's
Did
kind
it
of
really?
like this.
It's like a meditation
now it's
retreat.
like a refuge of.
So you guys
yes.
get on afterwards. So like go back to, I'm assuming first record, we were in a van.
Yeah.
Somebody's driving, everybody's doing whatever. Like I know you were searching for an 8-person bong for the bus, so I would imagine I know what you're doing.
I found one, yeah.
Did you really? Shut up.
Well, we've had a couple different implements, let's just say.
Okay.
And it was a mess. It was disgusting. When we finally got on our bus, it's like, this is the coolest thing ever. We didn't trash it, but we were like 20, 21, so not the most responsible. And now you realize like, oh, we also have to live in here, so like, let's like clean up our messes and
Make
put
your
stuff
beds.
away, make your beds. Yeah. It's the boring stuff that keeps you going.
So now minus Eric, but now so everybody's got a family. Like Pine, like you were saying. We get on the bus, it's kind of chill, everybody calls home, talks to kids, does their whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sometimes miss what it was like when you were 21 and it was the party bus?
No.
I will say if we never had those experiences, maybe I would miss or like yearned for that. But because we've done that, I feel like I scratched that itch.
Right.
And we've moved on. And we do have some fun nights on the it happens. But
It's
right
more
now,
special
just
now.
not on the bus.
Yeah.
Just
Not on
go
the bus.
out
Yeah.
into the world and have a drink. Or
we
whatever,
actually do a
but
lot
it's
of
rare.
like post-show barbecues with other bands and kind of like just like hang out, and it
Right.
becomes like a very kind of like summer camp vibe, which is cool. It's really fun.
So how is the like I mentioned, the record's out, obviously. How's the now that we're handful, dozen shows into the tour? How's the record's great, by the way. The record is
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
How's the fan reaction been?
It's actually progressively gotten more exciting as people are starting to digest the new music. Like last night, we were so surprised because we played Evergreen, and I saw like the first 1,000 people or several hundred at least singing along to the song. And it feels so exciting now that people are really like, it's getting into the bloodstream for them.
The in Evergreen, it feels like, especially like the part where it kind of breaks down. First of all, energy wise, it's great, but I feel like it's one of those that's so easy to get into and just kind of get going. I could totally see, like you said, as it gets digested more and more, of that being like a very big moment during a show.
Yeah. And it's just getting more and more like that. And just exciting to see people sing along to the new stuff,
Is the breakdown in there? I think I read somewhere the breakdown that you guys do where no music, it's just you guys singing. Was that an ode to Queen?
It's definitely in the trick. The trick bag.
we were discussing on the way. It was the last writing retreat we did in Joshua Tree in the desert, and we were discussing what was missing from the record. And we were a few of us were talking about how Bohemian Rhapsody, and not to compare the songs at all, but just what Queen.
Oh, so you think Bohemian Rhapsody total garbage?
What's going
You know
on
what? Let's
record?
do this right.
What Queen did so often with their layered vocals and having these really grand moments in their songs. was something that was that feeling was missing a little bit. So we wanted to have a song on the record that had a little bit of that feeling. So it was a little bit of an homage for sure.
That's awesome. No, but I think that's great. I kind of like that as kind of like a little bit of a hidden thing that went on. You mentioned the writing retreats. So you guys did Joshua Tree. You did some mountain house.
Idlewild.
Right. Okay. So you went away there and did the writing. Why? Why was that a thing this time through?
I think at home, I mean, we were writing always. We always are constantly like sending each other ideas, but we had a band house at the time, and just on the other side of the door was reality. You know, it's like, I need groceries. Someone fell down. Someone's crying. I gotta go. And so we realized that we needed to silo the writing a little bit, just to kind of give us space to be creative and kind of reconnect as a group and not have like the immediacy of like day-to-day life just on the other side of our studio door. So yeah, if you're 3 hours away, it's really hard to jump back and go get some new milk or something.
Right. What is the band house?
The band house was a little bit of a tragedy of the commons. We all bought a house together and just before COVID, and we used it to write. A lot of American Bollywood was put together there, and no one lived there, but it was a great little refuge. We used to have pool parties and write some music. And
so you guys just bought a house just
it was our rehearsal
like to go
space
screw
and
around in.
right, and it was our headquarters essentially. We don't have it anymore, but we learned that these writing retreats are much more fruitful. We get a lot done.
Well, no, you're right, because somebody could call and all of a sudden it's like, oh, sorry, well, I gotta go.
I think when we first started with one another, we lived in multiple different houses before we got signed, after we got signed, pretty much up until the Mind Over Matter era. So about 5-6 years, we lived in 6 homes over Southern California with one another, sharing rooms and all of that. And I think that closeness and proximity.
To the like 2-bedroom apartment that apparently you guys had?
That was the second spot. The first spot was in Newport Beach, and the second spot was in Hollywood. And it was basically a 2-bedroom apartment with a loft. That was Jacob and Francois's room, the loft, and that was also the rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
Oh. And it was right off the Sunset Strip by the Guitar Center, and we used to bike to Sunset Sound when we were recording the record there with Joe Ciccarelli. But I think we were kind of looking for a little headquarters spot after we all had moved out, got our own spots. We kind of wanted to bring it in again, and that was kind of, again, the same thing what we did with the writing retreats was coming out of COVID. We had written American Bollywood, very siloed from almost one another, sending things postal service style demos and working in kind of like little
which
groups.
I feel like was, I mean, everybody was doing that.
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of the necessity, and we're really proud of that album, but we wanted to come back to the way we wrote the first record, where it really was this visceral feeling of 5 guys, a band in a room, writing, moving air, and we did that again on this record, and we recorded it live with Brendan O'Brien, and it was just an incredible experience. So.
2 things. Number one, a couple of things. The band house. So everybody just was like, did we 5 equal parts and we bought a house?
Yeah.
God, that's awesome.
It was an old house too, so it's like, oh, the roof is leaking. Oh, there's problems with the electrical. So that was a part of it. We're like, okay, it's probably a lot cheaper to just go like away for 5 days.
Right. Did you take a loss on the house?
Oh no.
Oh no.
It served a purpose, and it was a time and place, and we've moved on from it, and
we had a lot of good times there too.
Yeah.
Oh, I would imagine so. Yeah, if I bought a house with 4 of my buddies, I'd have the best time there. I would have never left to go help somebody that fell down.
we did, and we did write, not as much as these writing retreats for this most recent record, but we did write Different Kind of Love, the first single off the record, and Mona Lisa there. Yeah, a few of the songs on the record were written there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so you end up selling the house. So that thing is gone. Go back to the apartment for a second.
Sure.
That thing's that's probably a $2 million apartment now.
Oh, I don't even know. I mean, we were just renting that, and this is when
it wasn't then. Then I'm sure it was a trash hole.
Yeah.
But I'm sure now.
I don't know, man.
It was right by the Econo Lodge. I remember.
Hollywood's a little iffy. It's not really my. So we all
isn't Guitar Center right by Rock and Ralph's?
we lived across the street
Yeah.
from basically in between the two of them.
Right.
I mean,
In
some of us
Bossa
now live
Nova.
in West Los Angeles, and I like the energy there so much more. It's
Right.
just way more chill, and like being by the beach is a completely different vibe than Hollywood. So
Good for you. Good for you. So also the other thing you mentioned the Brendan O'Brien, and I don't know producers and record engineers and stuff like that, but in reading about you guys going to work with him, he's got a pretty impressive little resume. How does he did Soundgarden, he did Pearl Jam, he did Springsteen, he did Rage Against the Machine. How do you guys end up, like, who finds who to get that done?
With Brendan, I mean, we were writing this record and we were thinking about a few different producers. And Brendan's someone who, you know, I grew up listening to Springsteen. I was born in New Jersey. So my dad, both my parents, my dad especially, is a huge Springsteen fan. And The Rising was one of the most important records to me growing up. And so Brendan was actually, he's also done quite a few Incubus records, and we toured with Incubus back in 2011,
right,
when we first started out, and we had no idea who any producer was. And Mikey from Incubus was interested in working with us on the second record, and he said, "Oh, I'll bring in Brendan O'Brien, and we'll do the second record." We had no idea who Brendan O'Brien was. We ended up working with someone else for that second record, so it was kind of this like full circle thing where. We were making this record all together. It was a very band-centric record. We wanted to capture energy in the room, and Brendan came to mind in that regard, that, someone who's a real band producer, a real rock producer. And so we met up with him at Henson. He works out of a studio called Henson in LA. And from the first meeting, we all got in a room with him, and we were like, wow, just very impressed with his ethos and his mentality. We really didn't want to overthink the record. He seemed like someone who, as Mikey Einziger calls him, the Larry David of record producers. He's hilarious, and he just keeps the momentum moving in the room, and he was just the exact person we needed to make this record.
Quite incredible pace when we worked with him. So we had
pace, mean it went fast.
So we did like a little bit of a pre-production, right? We kind of like played him the songs. And we had some ideas. Okay,
so he doesn't go out to like the writing houses or the writing retreats.
No.
Well, he met us. We did like a pre-production phase for a week at the band house, but just to kind of like play the songs and like talk about the arrangements. We made some edits, and then that way when we went into the studio and we're spending the time and the money to be in the studio, we could be really efficient with our time. And we recorded Evergreen on the first day at Henson Studios. And after that 10-hour day, and this is including getting drum tones and guitar tones, like all those things and everything mic'd up, we had 90% of what you hear on Evergreen that's released now, we had at the end of the night. And we did that every day for 15 days. We had basically recorded 15 songs in that time.
So what, one a day in band world, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, that's kind of
the quality that we had it at. Yeah, for sure.
When we first started with Joe Ciccarelli, he was like, "That's like the bar. You need to be doing a song a day, otherwise you're not cutting it."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that's a lot of pressure, though.
It is, but it's a good kind of ethos to be in, because it just makes you move quickly and not overthink things. I mean, Brandon.
I also say that as somebody who's never written a song, so like that seems like really intimidating.
No,
we
I
had
was
a good
stressed
guide.
out.
Yeah. Brandon
with Joe, I was stressed out, and it took us like 5 days per song.
Joe, for our first record, when we were all 18, 19, going into Sunset Sound, Studio One, working with the legendary producer, that was being on a record, first major record label. That was definitely a big adjustment. I think coming into our sixth record at Henson with Brendan O'Brien, we're just at this level of musicianship and comfortability and trust with one another that we could just show up and just crush it. I think like when you're working in that pace, it forces everyone to just tune in and just really focus and make it happen.
This is how good Brendan was. I'd show up, me and Eric would usually show up first, and he would always be playing the piano, and he'd be playing the melody in the right hand, accompaniment, and like singing along. So he had these like piano renditions of the songs that we were going to work on for the day already in his fingertips before we got in the door. So he knew the whole like architecture of everything. He's just like that.
That's pretty amazing.
He's pretty amazing.
He could play piano,
honestly.
guitar, bass. He could sing. Like he could, it was just great. He had great ideas, and like a good producer, he was able to facilitate those ideas through us. He wouldn't be like, do this, but he'd be like, what about something like this? And then like, someone pick up a guitar and be like, oh yeah.
Can he, like you mentioned, like your parents being huge Springsteen fans, or your dad being a huge Springsteen fan, and you being, like, can you talk to him about stuff like that? Like, does he have? I'm sure he's got amazing stories.
Yeah,
but is that like off limits?
No,
like
he loves talking about his many the many artists he's worked with. Yeah, he just has great things to say about most all of them, and there wasn't one bad thing. It was all the fun stories and the friendships he has, and he did that one record with Bruce, and I think when he was in Atlanta. And we ended up, Samir and I met Bruce in December for the first time, and it was we brought him up, and he said, and Bruce had a lot of good things to say as well. So yeah, it's all in the spirit of making records. He loved talking about all the
That's awesome.
different records he
That's
worked
great.
on. Yeah.
Does Victory Garden feel like it's your 6th record, or does it feel like it's just gone like that?
You know, I don't think it feels like it's gone like that. I mean, it's very strange. I mean, our 3rd album, Home of the Strange, is 10-year anniversary this year too, which is kind of just so surreal to think about. And I always thought, it's been a couple of years between the last few records. It's been 4 years in between, but still somehow we've managed to do 6 records. And I was actually looking up, because I know Death Cab is putting out a record right now. It's their 6th record.
Oh,
and
wow.
Death Cab's been around, a bit long, a good deal longer than we have. So I was like, wow, we're actually pretty good pace there,
Oh, you almost need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, we need a break. No, the thing about the 6th record, I would say, is it feels like a fresh, like the book. The first 5 records, we've described it as like, the chapters in a book, and then this 6th record does feel like a new book, like it's a totally new. Whatever the kids are calling it, a new era.
Right.
But for us, we everything from record label, like just energetically, we feel the way we recorded it and wrote it. It really feels like return to form from like the early days, but just with a lot more experience.
Eric, I was reading something where you said that when you were talking about kind of going back to how you did the first record, where whether it was an apartment that everybody was in or a nicer apartment, an Airbnb in Joshua Tree, whatever it is, or your own band house, but it was still in principle the same thing. But you were talking about how hard it is to be in a band, especially when it's been this long. Were there times during, whether it go back to the first record or writing this one and having this one come out, where it was that hard, where you guys thought, I don't know if there'll be, whether it's a 4th record, 5th record. Was there a bump along the way where I don't know that you question whether you would make it. I mean, you guys have already made it, but continue on as a band?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that any member of any band would say that it's difficult. It's in terms of, you are living and breathing the work when you're at home, writing and recording, and then you live in a bus or in a van. So it's a lot of very close. It's like a brotherhood. So there's difficulties with, when we were younger, I think there's, as you can see with so many artists, so many bands, that with time there's this fear of like, well, if the communication gets worse, or if the this could go wrong, this could break, so many artists break up or members leave. And with the testament to us is, I feel like it just keeps getting better. I think with the 6th record, when we went out to Joshua Tree, or Idlewild was our first writing retreat, we just kind of all broke it down with each other. And it wasn't like, there's no bad blood.
Nobody had any beef to settle.
No beef. It was breaking it down as like, hey, like, let's really see each other. Where are we all at? Because everyone, we have, all the guys have young kids. So, with life getting, adulthood.
I like how you said all of those guys.
No, I'm not.
We had entered a new chapter in our lives.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I don't
Everybody's
want
married.
to. I don't
Everybody's
want
got
to
kids.
No,
speak for Eric or anything. I was saying, I think for me it was like, for all of us, I think almost the external factors of being in a band was more difficult than the internal. I think this has always felt effortless in a way. I think with any relationship it ebbs and flows. But
Right.
And I want Eric to finish this thought there, but like I think it's just like the world, like everything around us, all the externals, actually, just the climate and music and in the world, like that's always difficult, and for everyone, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's really for us on this record specifically. We got back to really like reconnecting as friends to the point where the music just came naturally. Like it was just very intuitive writing. We were just like, together writing. And previous records, the last few records have been, super collaborative, but it's also with COVID, with I'm saying, it's like also the pressure of being in a band and trying to keep it rolling. But we feel, I think, fresher and more excited about this band than we've ever felt in many, many years. You know, it really feels exciting to us.
Does that pressure stem from being 18, 19, 20 years old and the first record puts out 2 massive songs? Like, does that, I don't want to say it's unfair because it's everything that you want, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, holy crap, like we did really well, really quick.
It's interesting. I think us as a band, especially in that time, you know, probably 15 years ago, there was kind of like a formula to a certain degree where, you know, if you did like, there was kind of a thing like if we'd maybe done Cough Syrup 2.0 on the second record, that there, you know, was like, oh, built-in arena kind of in your future. But I think to our credit, like as a band, I think the thing that gave us the pressure the most was like the internal thing to kind of like really find our sound in ourselves and continue to evolve and grow. And like, so our favorite artist was like Radiohead, and it was just really trying to go and be ambitious. But I think, and that has really played really well into the longevity of our career. I think no one's really like kind of put us into a box of, you know, what era we're from. But at the same time, we found ourselves like getting to the point where we were just like trying to over intellectualize everything or second guess our intuition. So this was kind of really like getting back to that. And I think if anything, the pressure was, like internal, being like, we want to kind of show where our minds can go, because we've just kind of scratched the surface of Young the Giant. And this time really not worrying so much about that and just really having fun, like getting back to just the joy of being in a room. Because there were years where, you know, we were still having fun. I mean, love going to the studio, but there were, you know, definitely mornings of like, oh man, I got to go, you know, to the studio today. I hope that something works out today.
Well,
if
it is your
work out-
job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for a lot of people. That's I mean, it's work. Your work just happens to be you're a musician.
Yeah, and music unfortunately just doesn't work that way. You can do 9 to 5 every day and bang your head against the wall and nothing will come. And you know, you might be in the shower at like 9 p.m. and like that one melody that comes into your mind is the song that changes everything. It's just kind of, you kind of have to kind of trick your mind into getting into the place of being relaxed and having fun. And this record and the process of writing it truly just felt like that. We were just, there was no pressure. We were just kind of like just enjoying each other's company.
And I also feel like, and this may be fair or unfair, but it's just my assumption, but like whether it's just listening to the music or reading about you guys took advantage and maybe still do of not just traveling the States, but traveling the world, of taking advantage of nothing's been handed to you, but of what you've gotten to go out and explore and learn about culture and learn about different people and how they live, and not just bus venue, plane, bus venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a band, we have an appetite for traveling and just people in general. I'm European, Francois Canadian, like we have many different like descents in our band, and you know that's the tapestry that makes Young the Giant, is just like all those different perspectives. And yeah, I think we just have a good appetite for life. We like to grow, we like to meet people. You know, we've really pushed our like philanthropy efforts in the last couple of years, and like, you know, sometimes we'll go to like a children's hospital and play, and like just like expanding our horizon to kind of give new color to the day-to-day on tour, and we continue to do that.
Like I think you mentioned, maybe it was Eric, you who mentioned like Mona Lisa was done at the band house or something. But like when you hear that, the song, which is great, I imagine every one of you have been to the Louvre probably more than once. So just that perspective of being in there and seeing the picture and then kind of writing what it's about, even whether it is or isn't Sheryl Crow that she's listening to. But like I imagine it's not just everybody knows who the Mona Lisa is, but the actual experience of taking in the Mona Lisa and going to the Louvre and learning.
Definitely. I mean, in order to write music, you have to experience life. You have to be in it. And I think we're really blessed in this position where I think we would call ourselves in a great way kind of semi-famous, where like 9 times out of 10, I can live my life. I go to the store, I can go do what other people do, and every once in a blue moon, someone will be like, come up to me and be like, hey, can we take a photo? And they're usually very respectful. It's not a position where I have to, or any of us have to like separate ourselves from society, because it becomes much more difficult to write music in particular and to be honest to the human experience when you're not living a normal experience. So like, and if you're in the studio every day or you're just kind of not doing anything, then you have really nothing to write about. So we definitely take advantage of that time in between to live life and do things.
I think another like really important thing and what makes I think us as a unit so great too is that we are the writers. It's
Right.
Like, I mean, we have collaborated here and there with other producers, other writers, maybe for like one or two things, this and that. But like the majority of Young the Giant is like these 5 people, and we like write everything, we record everything, we perform everything. I think that's what makes it really special, and that like we're like a real rock band, and like we're still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So has Cheryl Crow not gotten back to you guys?
We're waiting. Cheryl, I've shouted her out on many of the interviews.
So we have 2
We love
tickets under
Cheryl.
our name in every venue.
Is there a place you haven't played? Is there a place that you look at and go, God damn it, how have we not played there?
We still haven't played Japan, which is
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Japan is a
Japan hates Young the
It's
Giant.
elusive.
No, I think they
That
love
was
it.
just never.
We've gotten some
unaware.
offers
and also,
it just
you know
doesn't work out.
What's even more surprising is Mexico City, because we have a huge following in Mexico, and we had a couple opportunities. We were actually supposed to play a festival there coming out of COVID, and we couldn't because of
COVID.
stuff.
Because of COVID.
I got COVID.
You got COVID?
I had COVID. back
Samir
then.
was, yeah.
And I was already
I mean,
in Mexico, so I
he
hung out
was-
with my
he
Uncle
barely
Frank.
had
Shut
a-
up, you were already there.
So
I was already there too. I brought my whole family.
It was a vacay.
I mean, I love
Mexico
Mexico
vacay.
City, so it's fine to be out there, but it was just out of like abundant precaution that, it was like the line was still showing that he was
And
positive.
it was back when you couldn't come back into the country
Yeah,
if you
'cause he
had
was
like.
in Spain.
Oh,
and I was
damn.
I was in Spain at the time, so I.
So you weren't coming back to the country
No,
anyway.
no. I was
Samir's
like-
like, it's really nice in Mallorca right now.
But there was a whole racket, there's a whole bunch of people like, doctored like fake negative, COVID results. I'm like, I'm just going to wait out and extend my vacation for a little bit longer here.
Oh, well, that sucks you didn't get to play. I'm glad you two had a great vacation.
I had a
though.
great time with the girls. It was really fun.
Wait, was it? I may have this wrong. Francois, you missed a show once when you were sick. Was it COVID or not?
It was COVID.
Is this in
yeah.
Albuquerque?
And I thought I was gonna die. It was the first time I ever missed a show.
You probably got it from Samir, if I had to guess.
I probably got it from licking like handrails at the airport. It's a pastime of mine. Yeah, I just started feeling really bad, and then it's at elevation in Albuquerque, and I was like, man, I can't breathe. I don't want to faint on stage. I took great pride in never having missed a show. We were very fortunate. Our drum tech is a fantastic drummer in his own right. He hears me play the songs every night, so he was ready to kind of step up to the plate. And I had this really surreal experience where I was driving to the airport hotel where I was like quarantined for 3 days by myself. And I heard the band playing on stage, and everyone else during sound check can walk out and like listen. I've never heard my band from a PA, and
Yeah, right.
it was so cool. I was
I
like,
love
man, we
that
sound
story.
pretty good.
Because you're right. You would never hear your own band playing. I mean, well, I guess unless you get sick. Which now I don't blame Samir. I think I blame the drum tech actually.
Yeah, he
Like, watch
sabotaged
me
me.
get in.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, that's a crazy experience to hear your band playing without you in it.
It was actually really cool. And then 3 days playing video games in an airport Hilton was not cool. That was terrible. But I guess worth it just for that fleeting moment.
God, that's amazing. All right, let me do this. Give me a quick break. You guys are at Wolf Trap tonight. The record is out. Victory Garden is out and available now. Quick break. More with Young the Giant next.
Elliot in the morning.
It's Elliot in the morning. Young the Giant is with us. They will be at Wolf Trap tonight. Victory Garden is out and available now. By the way, am I dumb for not knowing what a Victory Garden was before you guys named your record Victory Garden?
No, it's. I don't think it's a super common knowledge. It was kind of something that we happened upon as we were just kind of talking about, like, obviously there's this historical version of what it was, but it felt really symbolic for, it basically for people who don't know, it was people during the war effort were growing food in their own gardens, in public spaces, and just to help feed the country. And it just felt like there was this parallel with, how you can kind of cultivate your own life in your own garden. And your own community and try to do things on a smaller scale that actually end up affecting a lot more change.
Right.
And it felt like it was in line with everything we were talking about. It's also just cool words together.
Sure.
And it just elicits some great imagery. So, yeah, kind of once we started talking about it, diving into the history, it's actually really fascinating. Even just the Wikipedia, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, what are we playing? What are we going to play?
Yeah, we're gonna play Evergreen.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Victory Garden. Victory Garden. Don't blink or you might miss it. Life is a garden, you said. Just walk among the flowers. Don't kill or be devoured. Eye for an eye. Is it comic suicide? Eye for an eye. Is it comic suicide? Call it a victory. Once in a century. Hope you remember me in shade under the evergreen. Call it a victory. Once in a century. Hope you remember me in shade under the evergreen. By the river, there's a sliver of light. Tend your garden. Watch it bloom in the night. Don't blink or you might miss it. Life is a garden, you said. Just walk among the flowers. Don't kill or be devoured. Call it a victory. Once in a century. Hope you remember me in the shade under the evergreen. Call it a victory. Once in a century. Hope you remember me in the shade under the evergreen. Eye for an eye. Is it karmic suicide? Though I try and I try, but they'll never take my life. I'll survive and I'll be doing fine, but I'm afraid of the change, or if I still stay the same. And when I'm gone, hope the garden carries on. In a century for a night. Hope you remember me in the shade under the evergreen for a night. Call it a victory. Once in a century for a night. Hope you remember me in the shade under the evergreen.
Young the Giant is with us. That's awesome. That sounded great. Thank you guys very much. And I like, now that I know like the little Easter egg behind the breakdown, I like that. That's really good. I like that. The two other Easter egg. Well, one other Easter egg for sure. The I guess kind of the first single, if you will, that came off the record, A Different Kind of Love, right? Was the lyric always My Body Tells Me No, or was that intentionally done as a throwback to My Body?
It was definitely intentional. We thought it'd be really fun to kind of throw that little Easter egg in. And, usually we write lyrics, we try to, as a group, really get 99% of the lyrics done that first day, because it's just, I don't know, we used to do the thing, and a lot of singers do, where you kind of we still just kind of expedite the process. Usually it's like gibberish that comes out. And sometimes if you're lucky, there's some real great stuff that comes from that gibberish. And then you piece it together. We just we force that process in one day. But a lot of times people are like, oh, we'll just do the lyrics later. But it just kind of dilutes everything. So that idea and concept came, pretty quickly when we were in that room.
And then with Everclear, and then or Evergreen rather, and then I'm going to go back to A Different Kind of Love. You were talking about how Queen was like a big influence in that song, where it broke down. Was there anybody that was a big influence for A Different Kind of Love? Is anybody in the band a huge Jeff Buckley fan?
We all are.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there was kind of like the Leonard Cohen, Jeff Buckley,
I hear that song, especially not the entire song, but there's parts of it where I love Jeff Buckley, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, Jeff Buckley could sing the song.
Yeah. No, there's definitely
we
that.
realized that when we were working on the verse, is this too close to Hallelujah?
The minor fall and the major lift.
We ended up putting the chorus at the beginning of the song to make sure that it wasn't right at the top. But I think overall the record was, we have our influences just naturally, or subconsciously, but I think even with the Queen thing, it wasn't really a conscious, let's make a song. It was like, oh, you know what? The record's kind of missing a song that has the grandeur of it, or let's make the bridge very long and do some stacking of vocals and harmonies. And then once we did that in the studio with Brendan, and Brendan learned that we could kind of stack the vocals, background vocals as well, and just do a bunch of layers, then we started throwing that kind of, on a few other tracks too.
And then obviously we're out on the road. You'll be at Wolf Trap tonight. One of the other things I read was there was a big focus, and maybe it came out of the way you wrote and recorded, where it was like, we're just going to go in and we're going to do it, for the live performance, which I know has always been important, but maybe a little extra important for this tour. I don't know if that's a fair way to put it.
Yeah.
But that it definitely was in mind in getting everything done.
I think Young the Giant, it's like a pursuit of perfection always. We always want to be better. And this, we've been touring a lot. So when we entered into this summer tour, we're like, let's kick it up a gear. Let's give our fans something different. Because, if you saw us last summer, you don't want to come see the same show. So we worked really hard to represent the new record, also the 10-year anniversary of the Home of the Strange songs. But yeah, this is the best live show we've ever put on. We worked with a musical director, which was such a treat, because we always say, working with someone like Brendan, it's now we get to pick these people that we can learn from and siphon off some of their tricks and kind of just grow as people. And I think we really accomplished it with this summer set. It is, it's no bangers. There's no bathroom breaks. It's time to go. Yeah.
What is it like when you say you work with a musical director? What does that mean?
Just someone to come in and, anyone in our band could musical direct. And we have done it for the last couple of years where, it's oh, the bass tone could be this, or we could do this in the bridge live to make it different. But bringing in someone else's perspective that obviously had heard of our band, but he really dove into the catalog and just came with some fresh ideas to represent songs that we haven't played before. And, for us to get out of our own muscle memory of Silver Tongue and Tie Rope worked really well at the end of the set, and now we're not playing Tie Rope. And, we've just kind of revamped our show to kind of put a new coat of paint on it. And I think it shows. Last night's show was amazing. I really felt like we had never gotten a crowd really to that level, especially at the Stone Pony in 90+ degrees humidity. It was a great show. Yeah.
Hey, how does I don't remember, it's within the last week or 10 days, you guys were in Atlanta and Group Love gets up on stage. How does that, how does that happen? Were they just there?
They're our homies, and they're from Atlanta. Yeah.
Oh, so you called them when you got there. I mean, Group Love's great. Love them.
We toured with Group Love, and we're still in touch with all the members, honestly. Obviously, some more than others, and yeah, we just reached out and we wanted to, celebrate our friendship. And it's always good for us to, again, bring some new ingredients into the live show. And I love playing that song. I've heard them play that song so many times. So to actually get my hands on the guitar was fun.
No, I was going to say the clips that went around were great. It was really, really good. The other clip I liked, Pam, I think it was your birthday in Charlotte. Your hair almost went up in flames.
God forbid.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I felt like it got pretty close.
He's unaware.
Yeah, it's news to me. Thank goodness it didn't.
The how important are not videos from out on the road, but videos for songs? How important is that to you guys?
Like music videos?
Yeah. I feel like you guys put a lot into them.
We put a lot into everything, honestly. This time around, we, representing Victory Garden was going to be challenging in some ways because the American Bollywood aesthetic was so defined, and we knew the story we were going to tell. And this time around, we, I feel like we crushed it. So I'm not answering this question very well right now, but there was we were offered to go over to Colombia to work on it, and we ended up bringing the director to the States. And yeah, I don't know. He had his own vision of representing the stories, and we just trusted his aesthetic. And
because you'll get something like Bitter Fruit, where it's just having fun in the studio, and then already there you're like, oh boy, I don't know if I was expecting that to be in there. But it seems like it's not just we have to put out a video because something has to be on YouTube. It just seems like there's I don't want to say more to it than that, but actual thought and art that goes into it.
Yeah, we have a chance to kind of contextualize the song when we have music video, and it's really great to kind of see different takes and visions of what the song can mean, particularly to George Kada, who is the director of both, actually of Different Kind of Love, Evergreen, and Already There. It's really kind of great to see those parts united and have there be a really human story. I think the goal of our music is to have it be a universal experience, but when you have a music video, you can kind of take it into a lane, and people are like, oh, that's a unique way of looking at the song.
And then I realized that we're kind of at the very front end of the tour, and you'll run all through North America, and then you head overseas to Europe and play all over there. What is will you guys write at all along the way, or because of how this one was, where we're going to go to writing retreats, does that I don't know if you guys are road writers at all, or I'm assuming that you're always ideas, or you're not?
We can't write on the road.
Oh, really?
We've honestly tried so many times. I think the show takes so much out of you. By the time we're done with the show, we're all exhausted, and we want to make sure that we kind of reserve our energy for that, and to give people the best version of the show every night, and that takes a lot of focus and energy. And by the time we're done with that, even despite our best efforts, we've brought recording gear out in the past. I think the only song we've ever written on tour was a song called Titus Was Born, which is on the third record. It's it's impossible for us. I don't know why. We just can't do it. We have to be those two things are siloed.
We're so busy. I mean, we're here right now, and we'll go to sound check after this, and then and then we have VIP, and then we'll be playing a show, and then it'll be the next city.
Right.
It's
if I'm being honest, I can't believe you're here right now. When it was well, I know they have a show last night, they got one tonight, but they'll still come in. I was serious. And despite what you say, you guys are very famous, so don't start with your we're not famous. But I was shocked. I really was. It was Young the Giant will come up. I was like, goddamn right they will. That'd be awesome.
We have young kids. We're very used to waking up early.
You don't have young kids on the road.
Yeah,
I do though in some ways. There's still things to do.
We appreciate you all and the opportunities, and we've been doing this for a long time, but we the industry is constantly changing. And to have friends,
it ain't getting better.
To have friends like you guys, and to hang out in the morning is not a tough ask. So we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that. And next time I ask for you guys to do something and they say no, I am going to send that clip to you.
Text me.
Honestly, though, thank you guys very much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Young the Giant will be at Wolf Trap tonight. Victory Garden is out and available. Again, thank you guys very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.